Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn about how to describe the task 1 of IELTS writing. So let's start. So for the task 1 in the intro, we can change the intro like the given graph illustrates. So instead of show, we can write illustrates like the rendered bar graph describes. The another way is the provided chart demonstrates, and the rest is the question. So we have three ways, like for show it could be illustrates, it could also be the rendered bar graph, like for the given it could be rendered. Here you must describe the task 1 like the type. If it is a table, here you will write the rendered table describes. If it is a bar graph, then you will say the rendered bar graph, and if it is a pie chart, so here it would be pie chart. So for describes we have demonstrates and illustrates, and the one is also delineates. So these are your ways for starting your task 1 in your intro part. So now I am going to tell you about the trends, like which synonyms to use for increase and decrease. So if the figure is increasing, we can use surge. We can also use soar. We can write incline. We can also write climb. So when we have to describe the trends. So if the percentage is increasing, you can write there was a surge of 5%. You can also write soar. You can also write incline, and you can also write climb. So for decrease, we have drop. Then the second one is decline. And the third one is fall. The fourth one is dip. Okay, so these are the synonyms that we are going to use for decrease, decline, fall, dip, and also reduce. So when there is a strong rise, we will write soar. And whenever there is a strong decline, we can write dip. When the number is same, firstly you can say same, or you can write exactly same. Stable, for stable you can also write stable, and you can write remained unchanged, and you can also write constant. So when the number is same, we are going to write same or exactly same. The second one is stable. The third is remained unchanged. It means no change is observed. And yes, you can also write constant. So now we will discuss about talking about the time. So in your task 1, when we have to start our intro, when we started earlier in this video, in the first instance, like I discussed about the rendered chart describes the number of people who participated in sports like if in the question it is 1990, then it's 2000, and then it is 2010. So in the question, if there are 3 years, so here we can write about the time, like the rendered chart describes the number of people who participates in sports in 3 selected years. Then put a comma, mainly 1990, 2000 and 2010. Okay, so here I have used 3 selected years. You can also write 3 specific years. And as we are talking about the time, you can also write over the given 3 years. Okay, and the last way is between 1990 to 2010. So this is the first way. This is your second way. This is your third way. And this is your fourth way. So now, in your task 1, as you know, we can't repeat the words. So for that, while we are comparing and contrasting, so which comparison words we have to use, because task 1 is mainly about increase, decrease and stable. So as you know that task 1 is basically about increase, decrease, which figures increased, which figures decreased, which figure remained stable, and in which figure there is no change. So basically these 4 things are seen in task 1 of IELTS writing. So to save your time and to not to repeat the same words like and, because, this figure, so which words we are going to use? So starting with the comparison words for the task 1, as we have to compare in task 1, comparing and contrasting words. So the first word is while. The figures of Australia increased while the figures for Canada decreased. So, and instead of and, we are going to use while, or the another word is whereas, and we can also use whilst. But make sure we should not put a comma after these. Always the comma is before these comparing words, right? The second word is in contrast. Then put a comma. Then we have as compared to. Then we have however and we can also use less than, more than. For in contrast, we can also use by contrast. And the last word is conversely. So conversely means like we are talking about the opposite. If the figures for Australia increased, conversely the figures for Canada decreased. So we can also say less than or more than. We can also use however. We can also use as compared to. We can also use in contrast, and we can also use by contrast. And yes, we can use while or whereas or whilst. So these are the synonyms of the while, right? So this is all about the task 1. Like these were the comparing words. So we also discussed increase and decrease, but what when there is a big change, what when there is a small change. So there are so many synonyms that we can use. So when the figures, like when you see in the pie chart, if there is a big change, or you can say when there is a big increase, so which words to use? First one is significantly, okay, and the second one is considerably, and the third one is sharply, and the fourth one is substantially, and the fifth one is dramatically. So the figures for Australia increased significantly, or you can say considerably, or you can say sharply, and or you can say substantially when there is a very big change. We can also write dramatically. So these are the words for the big change, that is your big increase. But what to write when there is a small change? We can't always repeat small change or there was a little change. So we have so many words. So now I am going to write that for small changes. So when there is a little change or a small change, we can say there was a steady growth, or we can say steady increase, slowly, or you can say marginally, or you can write slightly. So these are the 4 words for small changes, like steady growth, steady increase, slowly. The figures for Canada increased slowly, marginally, and slightly. And even we have one more, and can you guess what is that? And that is gradually. So when the figures increase slowly, or whenever there is a change which is very small, we can write steady growth, slight growth, slowly, marginally, and gradually. So I hope you find this video very helpful, as we have discussed all the important task 1 words. Thank you so much.